Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Spellslinger, and for those of you that have been following, I know I have been away for a while, but I am very excited to be getting back into all things Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a new selection pack that just came out today with the Adventure archetype, as well as finally finishing off support for today's deck profile, which is Magic-Key, and I've been really looking forward to getting this in Master Duel at full power. So we're going to be going ahead. I have the deck profile for you. We're going to be talking about everything, the main deck and extra deck, and then I have some replays for you at the end that you're going to want to stick around and see. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just get straight into it. I am so very excited to be hopping back into Yu-Gi-Oh! because it has been a while since I've been back, about 4 months, but we're here now and things are looking good. So Magic-Key. Magic-Key is a ritual main deck archetype that uses all of the different extra deck summoning mechanics. We have fusions, synchros, Xyz, and links. Now, with that being said, the boss monsters for the Magic-Key archetype only get their really cool effects if they are summoned using 2 different attributes, and most of the time you'll want to be loading up your graveyard with different normal or vanilla with just a bunch of different vanilla monsters with different attributes, because a lot of these have really cool effects that trigger if you have different or specific attributes of these vanilla monsters in your graveyard. We'll go ahead and get to that when we get into the extra deck, but this is my version of the deck. I have had a lot of fun with it. It is a little bit high rolly with the Rescue Rabbit build. There are different builds with like Manju that, you know, is a little bit more consistent. I really like this one because the end boards are really explosive and it's just a really good deck all around. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So we're playing 2 Angel Trumpeter. Now we play 2 of these because it is a target for Rescue Rabbit. It's a 1-card Auroradon combo. If you get both of them out, go into the Halqifibrax. Halqifibrax gets out your Deskbot 01, and then the whole combo. We'll get to that. It's in the replay. We're playing 3 Clavicus, the Magic-Key Sky Blaster. Just 3 of the name. It's really good. All of our monsters have really high base stats, so even if you are just, be trying to get over something, you'll have that. We're playing 3 of that. We're playing 1 of the Gunkin Suship Shari. Just this for the fire attribute. We have the Earth, Dark, Fire, and then we have the 1 Psyframe Driver, which is a light, and we played the 2 Psyframe Gamma as our hand trap of choice because Rescue Rabbit is it's a very big Ash target, so we want to make sure that that goes through. So we have the Gammas as well as the Called by the Grave, but also the Psyframe Driver is here specifically, and I'm sure you've noticed this by now. We have a copy of Necros of Brionac in here, and we can summon that using the either Advanced Ritual Art or the High Ritual Art, which we will get to. But the Necros of Brionac is a really cool tech that I really like running in this deck. We'll get to it momentarily. But yeah, that's our vanilla lineup. Everything is looking really nice. We have the Deskbot 001 as well as the Colt Wing for our Auroradon line. We'll get to that in a minute. The 2 Gamma as discussed. 3 Rescue Rabbit. It's just the 1 card full combo to get our big Auroradon line into play. The 3 of the magnificent Magic-Key Maftiel, which is really good. It allows you to get an extra normal summon, provided you already have a Magic-Key on the field, so you can activate that effect, and then you can get an additional Magic-Key normal summon during your turn, which is really good. And then the second effect of this is when it's summoned, you can target a level 4 or lower normal monster or a level 4 or lower Magic-Key monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. So that's just really good for extension for your end boards. We typically use that to go into the Transformaline, however the hell you pronounce it. Back at it with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pronunciations. Anyway, after that, we're playing 3 of the Magic-Key Mech Musket Betos Buster. Really good card. It lets you search on summon, and then there's the second effect that I never use, but it is really good. You can add a Magic-Key card on summon, and then once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card, an opponent's monster that has the same attribute as a normal monster or Magic-Key monster in your graveyard, you can place any number of cards from your hand to the bottom of the deck, and if you do, negate the effects of the opponent's monsters until the end of this turn, then draw the same number of cards placed under the deck. So that's really good. It is, you know, more of like a battle trick because it has to be, you know, triggered by a battle specifically, but still really good. We use this, of course, for just the extension, for searching, everything. Every card searches the other one, which is really cool, and you'll see that in the replays at the end. We're playing one copy of Nekroz Brionac. It's just a really interesting tech that I really love messing around with, and it's really easy to summon. If you have it, you can summon off of Advanced Ritual Art, or you can summon it off of High Ritual Art. Just really good. Non-destruction extra deck monster spins, which is really cool. You can target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck and shuffle them into the deck. So getting rid of your opponent's big boss monsters is really easy with this. It's really fun. Now this thing is probably my favorite card in the entire deck. It is Magiki Mech Mortar. I don't know how the hell you pronounce this thing. Garglasser, something like that. Anyway, so this thing, really cool. You can ritual summon it with whatever the hell. Gains 300 attack for each different attribute in your graveyard. So at the most, it'll have 3,800. Typically, you'll end with 3,500. But with that being said, you can only use the effects once per turn. When your opponent activates an effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster that you have in your graveyard, if at least 2 attributes of the monsters used for this card's ritual summon, like I was saying earlier, all the big boss monsters, the dragon, the fiend, and then this guy right here, if you make them using 2 or more attributes, then you get the effect. That's kind of the one thing you have to be mindful of while playing this deck. So, quick effects. You can negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card. If this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a magic key monster from your deck to your hand, so it floats, negation, and it just gets really, really big. So just a really, really good card to end on. Playing the 1 Terraforming because we are playing 3 of the field spell. It's really good. We'll get to that. 2 Preparation of Rites. We're playing a ritual-based deck, a ritual, like, you get the idea. You add a level of 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand, then you can add a ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. So just really good, really good. Playing 3 Unexpected Die, we use this to get our vanillas into rotation, as well as just getting any 2 monsters out for our Auroradon line. We get the Halka Fibrex out. We could just go to the moon. So 3 of that. Then we played 2 of the Magiki Mafti, which is the fusion spell card, as well as you can use it to ritual summon. You have to be a little bit careful that the interface of Master Duel, when using this card, it doesn't give you the option of either or. It asks you if you want to fusion summon first, so you have to like click away from that and then use the ritual spell. So in one of the replays, you'll see that I messed that up a little bit, but we were still able to play and whatnot, but it's really good. But the cool thing about this, though, is that if you have a magic key monster, you can use materials from your deck instead of either your hand or the field. So if you're able to get out a magic key monster, use Magiki Mafti to go, let's just say we're special summoning the mech musket. We could use something from the deck, like we could send the Sue ship, we could send Clavicus, we could send any attribute that we need to get into the graveyard to summon it, and I really like that because of, I like the card because of that specifically. Now, with the field spell, it's an awesome field spell. When this card is activated, add a magic key monster from deck to your hand. Searches, and then the first time non-token normal monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, they are not. During your main phase, you can add a Magiki Mafti, which is the ritual fusion spell. You can add that to your hand, and then place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck, and then once per turns. So one thing that is a little bit high rolly about this version of the deck is we play a lot of hard garnets. We have the Driver, we have the Despot 001, and we have the Mecha Phantom Beast Cult Wing, which are all hard garnets. So with the Magic Key World, we're able to activate it, and then if we did draw one of them, we can shuffle it back into the deck in replacement for a copy of the Magic Key Mafti, which is really, really good. We're playing 3 copies of Advanced Ritual Art, which is by far one of the best ritual spells in the entire game. You can ritual summon a monster from your hand, and then send normal monsters from your deck to the graveyard for the summon of it, which is really good. So we can get all of our normal monsters into rotation, which is really good, and then summon out any of the rituals that we want. Just really good. And then high ritual art is kind of like a reverse of that. You can use this card to ritual summon any ritual monster from your deck, and then you have to tribute normal monsters from your hand instead of using them from your deck. So it's just an inverse of advanced ritual art. I've been able to I draw the high ritual art as well as the Psyframe driver, and then I can use that to send the driver to summon out the Necroz of Brionac, which is really cool little interaction for that, and that's why I play that little engine, which is really fun. 2 Called by the Grave. We have the 2 Called by the Grave as well as the 2 Psyframe driver to make our Rescue Rabbit stick, just stuff for hand traps and stuff like that. So Magic Key Unlocking, this is the searchable trap that our Magic Key Fiend can search. And just for end boards, and it's basically just an Omni Negation while we have a Magic Key Ritual monster or a Magic Key monster that was special summoned from the extra deck. Now moving on to the extra deck, this is where a good bit of our deck building happens. So we're starting things off. We have Magic Key Beast. I have no idea how to pronounce this thing, and I'm not even going to try it. Anyway, it's a Magic Key monster and a normal monster except for a token. Pretty standard. But if this card is fusion summoned, you can add a Magic Key Mafti from your graveyard to your hand. Typically, you'll be using the Mafti to summon it. So you can use it to summon it and then immediately add it back to your hand, which is really good. Just for, card advantage. And then you can only use that effect once per turn, and then once per turn you can target an attack position monster you control with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magic Key monster in your graveyard. Change it to defense, make it lose 1,000 defense, and then banish any monster that this card destroys by battle. So just a little pretty good. It's got a decent 2200 for a level 4, which is really good. So if you need to get over something that's giving you a little bit of trouble, there's that. Next up, this honestly, I really like this card. It doesn't see a whole lot of use, but it's good to include. 1 Magic Key effect monster plus a normal monster except for a token. When this card is fusion summoned, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. Period. That's awesome. Once per turn, you can target a normal monster or Magic Key monster in your graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with that monster's attribute. And then once per turn, and if an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard is destroyed by battle or card effect, if this card was fusion summoned using 2 different attributes as a monster, you can draw 1 card. So kind of a mouthful, but basically you can call the attribute of a normal monster in your graveyard. So Dark's pretty popular. Call Darks, destroy all Darks your opponent controls, and then use the second effect to draw a card. It's really good for advantage, really good for just easy cleanups, really nice. And then there's a cool interaction with Magic Key Unlocking, where you can use the second effect to make all of your opponent's monsters a specific attribute. So you can use the unlocking to make all your opponent's monsters dark. Call Darks with the Magic Key Dragon, destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field, and then draw a card. Easy as that. I love this card. It's really nice. We play 1 Herald of the Arclight, and while I was playing, I decided that it would probably be better to switch out the Zeus for a second copy of Herald of the Arclight, just because of how good Herald is. But really, we just use this for the Auroradon line, and then we tribute it to use the effect to add a ritual spell or a monster from our deck to our hand, just for our end boards. That's what we use that for. F.A. Dawn Dragster, kind of the same thing. If we need spell and trap removal, not necessarily removal, but spell and trap negation, we can go into this with our Auroradon line. Borreload Savage Dragon is just, Omni Negate. Goes really good with all of the Link monsters that we have. Just really good staple there. So this guy right here, just really cool. I love all of the Magic Key, just all of the mechanics that this deck offers. It's really cool. So 1 Magic Key Tuner and a non-tuner normal monster. So that's really important to remember there. So this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, which is already awesome on a 2800 body. You can only use the following effects once per turn. If you control this card that was synchro summoned using at least 2 different attributes of monsters, there's that restriction again. You can set 1 Magic Key spell trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone, which will be your Omni Negate Magic Key Unlocking. So after that, the last one, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, except in the damage step, you can destroy that monster. So just really cool disruption, as well as getting that Omni Negate from the deck if you don't draw it naturally. And if you do draw it naturally, then you can just set a Mafti for next turn for follow-up. So it's just a really good card. We're running the one copy of Baron of the Floor. Really happy that it's in Master Duel. We end on it at the end of our Auroradon line, which is really good, and I will be showing all of this in the replay, so be sure to stick around for that. After that, we're playing the Abyss Dweller, which is just really good for the end board. We typically end on some combination of Mafti, Clavicus, and if everything goes correctly, we should have the Phantom, or the Mecha Phantom Beast Coltwing, and maybe a Mecha Musket, and we can go into the Firmaline as well as the Abyss Dweller, or we can go into the Borreload Savage Dragon. It just really depends on what you end with and what you are able to do during the course of your turn. But the last of the Magic Key extra deck monsters, the Magic Key Spirit, 2 level 4 monsters, so it's generic. If this card exceeds summons, you can detach a material from this card and add a level 4 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hand, your deck or graveyard to your hand, excuse me. And then if this card has a normal monster as material, it can gain this effect at the start of the damage step if this card battles an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magic Key monster in your graveyard. There's that same thing. You can detach a material from this card, and then your opponents must send that monster to the graveyard, which is really cool. Just good for recovery, a little bit of a battle trick in there, which is nice, but yeah, just good to have at 1. Like I was saying earlier, the Zeus I think I would replace for another copy of Herald of the Arclight. I didn't see myself going into the Spirit as often as I would like to make Zeus, but that's just my 2 cents. You can play it however you'd like. Now getting on to the last 5 cards, just Link lineup. We're playing 1 Link Spider. We have a lot of normal monsters, so if we're able to have the Link Spider to make that to go and summon a second one, or maybe the Angel Trumpeter, then we can go into the next card, which is the Crystron Halqifibrax. Use this, and then go into the Deskbot 001, go into the Mecha Phantom Beast, and then go into just the Mecha Phantom Beast line. You're off to the races. 1 Nightmare Unicorn. You could probably replace this with something else since we have our Link 3 for our access code. If you have any suggestions on what you would replace the Nightmare Unicorn with, please let me know. I'm very interested to hear from you. But yeah, Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. It has a lot of different effects. I will explain it during the replay, but we need this for our main combo, and then the access code talker for either going, second or follow up in late grindy games. But yeah, that is the deck, and thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching. I have the replays for you coming up in just a second. I hope you have enjoyed. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Thank you for all of my subscribers that have been hanging around during my absence, but I am back. I'm very excited to get into more decks. If you have any suggestions for decks or decks that you'd like to see, please let me know. But yeah, for now, let's go ahead and just get into these replays. I'll see you in just a second. Alright, so hopping into the first of the 2 replays that I have for you. This one is just to show what the uninterrupted board looks like at the end, if you are able to pull off your Auroradon combo and everything like that. But this is typically what one of the 2 end boards that you'll end on looks like. You can change it up a little bit with the Borreload and the Dweller, but we'll go ahead and get into it now. So we are going first. We're going to activate Unexpected Die to get out a copy of Clavicus. Then we are going to use the Magic Key Mafti to summon out a copy of the Bedos Buster using the other one that we had in our hand, the Suship. So we're gonna add the Maftil, there's so many different names, sorry, excuse me. Anyway, so we're gonna add that. We're gonna go ahead and go into a copy of the Crystron Halqifibrax because the Bedos Buster is in fact a tuner. So we're gonna get out our Deskbot 001 and then immediately summon into the Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. Auroradon will get us 3 tokens on summon. Little faster now. Thank you. And then the effect of the Deskbot will trigger, getting us back our Deskbot, and we're going to use the Deskbot as well as one of the tokens to go into a copy of Herald of the Arclight. Then we will use the main effect of the Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, which is to destroy 2 cards. Special summon a Mecha Phantom Beast, a monster from your deck if you destroy 2 cards that you control. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Herald of the Arclight as well as one of the tokens to summon out the Cult Wing. Cult Wing effect chained by the Herald of the Arclight. Arclight will resolve, getting us a copy of Advanced Ritual Art, and then the Cult Wing will get us 2 more tokens on our side of the field. Deskbot 001 will trigger 1 more time, getting out there, and then we're going to use all 3 tokens as well as the Deskbot 001 to go into a copy of Baron de Fleur. So that's our big payoff for the Auroradon line right there. We can go ahead and normal summon this copy of the Mafti. And then bringing back out the Sherry from the graveyard, and then what we can do, use these 2 to go into a copy of the Majesty Fiend. The Magic-y Fiend, then use our extra normal summon on the Clavicus, and then what we can do from there is use these 2 to go into a copy of Abyss Dweller, and then from there, Advanced Ritual Art, the last one in our hand, which is the Mech Mortar, that we were able to just draw in our opening hand. So this is our end board. This is what our end board typically looks like. The Abyss Dweller can be replaced with the Borreload Savage Dragon if you do it a little bit differently, but this end board, and actually I'm missing one more thing. The last thing we're going to be doing is using the effect of the Transformaline to get the Magic Key unlocking, which is that Counter Trap, Omni Negate, and Destroy. So we're going to set that directly from our deck. So now this is what our end board looks like. We can't do anything else with the Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon because we cannot link summon it. Or actually, no, you just can't link summon for the rest of the turn after you use that effect. So that's just kind of going to be there for next turn, and hopefully it'll just stay alive. But after that, we have the Omni Negate and Destroy with Baron de Fleur. As well as the target and pop on our turn. We have our Majesty Fiend, I keep saying Majesty, excuse me, Magic-y Fiend, which is the one where if our opponent special summons, we can destroy that monster, and then it's an Omni Negate, a Monster Negate if we have the correct attribute in the graveyard. And then we have, again, the Magic-y Mech Mortar. Same kind of deal. Sorry, I got a little bit turned around. So the Mech Mortar is actually the Omni Negate. This one is just the Destroy. And then we have the Abyss Dweller cutting off all different just graveyard effects, which is really good. And then we can go from there. So we have lots of different interruption for this. If you wanted the Omni Negate with the Borreload Savage, like I was saying, then that's also an option. But yes, our opponent is going to, I believe he lost connection or something like that. But this replay was just to show you what the typical end boards look like if you can play uninterrupted, or if you have a Called by the Grave or a Gamma for your for any hand traps that your opponent may have. So like I was saying at the beginning of this, towards the beginning of this profile, so what I didn't realize was that the ritual spell, the Magic-y Ritual and Fusion spell, didn't give you the option of either or. It asks you if you want to Fusion summon, and then if not, then it'll just Ritual summon, which is a little bit weird. So I had a little bit of a mix-up with that. But it would still ended up okay. We were able to get out something. So we're going to go ahead and activate the World to add a copy of the Mech Musket. Activate the effect to add a Mafti, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle back the Called by the Grave. We're going to activate the Mafti, and this is where that weird mix-up happened. So instead of Ritual summoning our Mech Musket, we Fusion summon the Magic-y Beast, and unfortunately we are able to use the effect to add the Mafti back to hand, and we will immediately use it again to get that off the field to go into the Betos Buster, but just taking a huge negative in card advantage here, which kind of sucked, but we're able to still do what we want to do ultimately. So we're going to go ahead and summon the that, getting out our Halqifibrax, and I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward through this part because I have already shown that. So we're going to go ahead and get the Auroradon, the 3 tokens, as then I believe from there, yes. So we're going to go ahead and get those out. Going into a copy of the Herald of the Arclight. You've already seen this, so we're going to go ahead and speed up. Cult Wing and the Herald. And then from here, you know the drill. Going into the Baron. And so, I mean, it's not the worst end board in the world. We have an interruption and we have bodies on the field for next turn. So with that mix up in mind, it's still not the end of the world. If you're able to get a tuner and a non-tuner on the field, your board will at the very least to have the Auroradon as well as the Baron and the and this guy right here, the Colt Wing. So after that, our opponent, I believe, again, they just lose connection. No, they summon an Adagnister and then Scoop. I don't know exactly what happened. But yeah, so that is basically the deck. The connection failed. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed. I've been really enjoying using this deck. If you have a deck that you would like to see covered or me make a profile on, please let me know. I'm definitely interested in doing what you guys want to see as well as what I want to do. A healthy mix is very important. But yeah, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys very soon with more Master Duel content. Feels awesome to be saying that again. Thank you guys so much again. I will see you next time. I have been Spellslinger. Have a great day.